Hello and welcome to the channel. I hope that you are all safe and well, especially my viewers in Australia that are suffering terribly at the moment with heavy flooding. Chironomids are the larvae and pupae of the Diptero species of fly. And we generally tie chironomids in two styles: the bloodworm, being our copy of the larvae stage, and buzzers, representing the pupa stage. They stay as larvae for a lot longer than the pupa stage, with pupa only lasting a couple of days or maybe a week maximum, depending upon the water and weather conditions. The chironomid that I'm going to tie is a representative of the pupa stage, and it's likely to be not too far from the surface, waiting for its moment to hatch. Clearly, that would be a very vulnerable stage. I think that the silvery hue is determined by the change of gases and makeup of the pupa as it's on the verge of hatching. Its head gets larger, as do the wing buds, and at this stage it's also lost its bright red colour and has turned much darker, a clarity colour, and the segments of the body are much more pronounced. So at the risk of boring you further with the details, I'll get on with the tying. Right, this is a size 12 round bend hook, and I'm going to put it at an angle so that I can tie on the thread. In fact, the thread is a floss, it's black floss. So I'm just going to wind this on to the shank of the hook. Whilst this is predominantly a lake fly, of course chironomids do exist in rivers also. For the segmentation, I'm going to use a sort of claret glitter thread. I'm going to cut a piece off of there, and I'm going to double it over because I'm going to be using double the thickness. And I'll tie that in. And wind down around the bend. Now for the silver effect, I'm going to use, this is quite an old mylar, and it's more metallic than it is plastic. So I'm going to cut a piece off of this and tie it in. Now because it is more metallic than plastic, it will give it a little bit of extra weight, because as you can see, I've not put any weight on this at all. And tie down these butts like so, up to the thorax area. Just going to level it up a little bit. Try and give it a bit of shape to the body. This is a relatively easy tying, as most pupas are. It's not too complicated. Just build it up a little bit more at the front here. Right, now I'm just going to put a half hitch in there to stop it falling off while I tie on these other parts. Now I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the top of the fly, just to help the mylar stay in place, or the metallic tinsel, whatever you like to call it. Right. Just take your time if you're using the same stuff. Any mylar will do, any silver mylar. And the nice thing about this is that it actually almost creates a natural segment. So just tie that off. Like so. and trim that up. Just bind that down. Now I'm going to put in the segmentation. Just going to twist this to try and keep it into almost one strand. That's better. It's beginning to twist now. And smaller segments at the base, and the segments get larger as they go along the body. Like so. We'll tie this off. And trim up. I'm going to move this round in the vise so I can work on the front of the fly. Right, I'm going to build up the head, because at this stage, as I've said, the head gets a lot larger, and of course we're going to tie in some wing buds, and they will be quite prominent, because at this stage that's another feature of the pupa. So it's going to take a little bit of time to build this up. Be patient. Everything comes to those who wait. Right, now for the wing buds I'm going to use some orange goose bite. So I'll just trim a couple off. More or less the same length. Right, now as you know, biots have got a good side and a bad side. We're looking at the convex side being on the outside of the head. So I'll tie that in on this side. And tie in the other one on the other side. And in this occasion, of course, the convex side will be on the inside, opposite. Right. Bind those down. And this, of course, will also make the head larger. Right, and move these round, tie them in. And the same on this side. Tie them down and trim up. I'm sorry that my fingers and thumbs are at the front of this tying. I hope it's not deflecting away from it in any way. Right, now I'm going to coat this with UV. This is a light UV, but it also, strangely enough, takes some of the glint out of the silver. If you ever have a look at a pupa at this stage, you will see exactly how it is so heavily segmented, and how large the head is and how predominant the wing buds are. And it has this sort of dull shine to it. That's the first coat. I'm going to give it another coat again. I mean, this would also protect the pupa from being damaged by the trout, or the teeth of the trout, let's say. And it's always a good idea to have a few of these in the box as opposed to just one, because you will have to change if you're catching regularly. And I'll give that a zap. Right now, they do have breathers, and at this stage the breathers still exist. Now for breathers, I'm going to use some material here. Now I have had this for a very, very long while, and it is a type of rayon, and it's a twisted rayon, so I'm just going to use one strand. So I'll separate them like so, and I'm going to just moisten them, because that will stop, hopefully, the fibres from jumping out. And put that on top and tie it in, and pull this one back and more or less figure of 8, like so. Because although these are pointing back at the moment, they will indeed come out at the side. Now, before I tie this off, I'm just going to put some glue on the floss. Like so. And tie it off. That's it. And trim up. Right, now they are inclined to stick out at the side, the breathers, at this stage, more so than at the head and at the front. So we're just talking about trimming them up to the same sort of length. Like so. Just brush them out. And there you have the finished chironomid. As I said, it's a fairly simple tie, but it's an effective fly, especially when it's fished on a dry line, on a floating line, and not too deep. Obviously, you can tie with beads if you want to go deeper. Here's a couple of examples, and these are with a 2.4 rainbow bead, and tied slightly differently with the breather at the front. Hope you enjoyed that tying, and please do not hesitate to give it a thumbs up. If you're not already a subscriber, please consider being so, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for viewing. Bye.